to silly noises on the stream. Welcome to Actual Play, Girl by Moonlight. I'm Sean, the host tonight. My pronouns are he and him, and I'm real jazzed to play this game. We just played on Thursday, and so theoretically, all this stuff is fresh in my mind. What is fresh in my mind is that we are going to go on a free dive underwater adventure to like break in to a containment center that the bad peeps read our peeps are trying to rebuild, and they're probably doing it in awful ways. So I'm real jazzed about that. How about you, Andy? What's going on with you? What's exciting to you right now?
Oh gosh, that the clarity of our plan. I'm real into it. Hi, my name's Andy. My pronouns are she and her. I play Abbott, the Stranger playbook here in this Earth Unmade game. I'm real excited to see what terrible things we learn about the Leviathan Defense Force and see what new things Abbott does or doesn't decide to say. That's kind of what I'm on about today. Yeah. How about you, Strash?
Hi, I'm Strash. My pronouns are he and him, and I play our fiery-haired and fiery-tempered guardian. And what am I excited about? Man, it's I know that I love mecha, so let's not pretend that I don't love mecha. Everybody knows I love mecha, but in some ways, I'm actually really excited to see what an episode is going to look like where we do not go and engage with the giant beastie fighting, which I'm sure we will get plenty of in future episodes. But
Yeah.
a bit more about the world is really a thing that I'm into and I'm super about. What about you, Andrew?
Well,
on the spot.
I'm Andrew. My pronouns are they, them. I'm the MC. Gosh, I don't know. I've been a little bit like racking my brain on what this all is going to look like. I'm trying to come up with some good kind of ready-made descriptive bits that I can fit into wherever we end up. But I'm always excited to play, especially with y'all. So happy to be here, be doing it. Also, you guys rolled a crit on your engagement roll, which means that just like cut right to the
good stuff.
I guess so.
I mean, if I know that we're authoring your own antagonism is often unsatisfying, but if there are areas where you're looking for inspiration, I would bet you that we would be keen on throwing out our ideas about the LDF, which you could accept or pervert or twist as you felt like would be useful. If you're like, oh, what is it? What's the aesthetic or what's the thing? Because I know that feeling of like, oh, I need to reveal the mystery. Shit. What's the mystery? Crap, I don't know what the mystery is.
There are some aspects of it that I have ideas about. Like I know what's going on with the like prison thing that that your character Prophet used to be like sealed within.
Yep.
I know what's going on there. What I'm kind of racking my brain about is some of the more specific stuff. Like, remind me what your goal was with this mission, because that's the most important part. Is I need to know what you're trying to achieve, and then I can riff off of that a little more easily.
I think just to make things confusing, I think there might be multiple goals. So I'm going to say what I think Prophet's goal is, and I don't know if that's going to align completely with Raina and Abbott. Prophet's goal is to find out. So Prophet has this like prescience knowledge of what's come to pass and what has already happened and all that. And this represents a hole in that for her. I feel like this is one of those spaces where she doesn't, because it's so closely connected to her origin, can't see into this. And so she's, oh, thanks, Panthera. I will fix that. She doesn't see into what's going on here, and she just assumes that the LDF is up to bad things, and she wants to know how this prison is going to be remade, because she knows it's going to involve Reina. She knows Reina is going to get stuck in it, and she wants to, like always, forestall that. So she wants to learn more about it. That's her goal. Find out what the baddies are up to. The baddies being us. Or
Yeah,
people
your
who-
own
Yeah.
Command
organization
structure.
part of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, my understanding was that we really wanted to go field tripping. One, like we're on a wild hair because we're like, we found out something. Is a big part of this to my sense of the matter, and a great desire to learn. And I'm sure there's some like shut it down, or like arm ourselves to make better decisions in the future, are sort of my understandings. Because if I think about it, like Abbott's all about as this relates to the engines and the Leviathans.
Mm.
And then Tor and Reyna are about, Reyna being fated and unstoppable and amazing. So I don't know, Strash, what's your take on Reyna's goal out of this? Is it like that Abbott asked for help?
That's actually very close to the truth. Reyna doesn't actually care because Reyna is kind of like the little engine that could. She does more than introspects. But the fact is that I have two promises. The first of which is I'm not going to let Prophet hurt Abbott. And I know that if I allow Prophet, who I have discovered has some flaws in their prophetic ability, go by themselves, this will likely end up in a poor spot. And I am the Guardian class, of course. And the other one is if anyone's going to sacrifice themselves, it's going to be me and not Prophet. And I feel like both of these really play into my promises and personal drives. So Reyna going has almost nothing to do with the cage, which she couldn't care less about because she's kind of a simple creature. She wants to punch the Leviathans because they hurt her friends. But she's much more concerned about not allowing you folks to be hurt, not allowing you folks to be like taken out and by proxy injure each other through your capture, punishment, etc.
Left unchaperoned.
Exactly. I am the chaperone. So I am the easiest, Andrew, because I have no expectations of what's going to be down there. I have no desires. My desires are turned inward towards the group.
Okay. And so we talked about how
does that help, Andrew? I'm sorry to interrupt that. Does that okay?
So let's see. So we got Beaumont's friend Ufir, who is the like smuggler scavenger person. And like is the named kind of spokesperson for a larger organization of kind of people living on the fringes within the Bastion. And so I think they are going to be part of how y'all kind of get in, because they know various secret byways and access points and that kind of thing. And gosh, we got this crit, so we got to get you right into the heart of things a little more quickly. Some kind of initial barriers are going to be circumvented.
Yeah, it seems like the initial like free dive sneak through the underwater tunnels pop up in the
Like
base,
in the facility itself.
Is that a montage or is it moot?
Yeah, like we don't need to roll for that. That's just going to happen,
right?
And so we're saying like free dive, but like you have some oxygen, but it's just like, but there's no like gear. You're not in like scuba gear or anything. Ufir just shows you to this, like takes you on a boat to this little cove that's kind of like a short trip away, and it's a pretty like unassuming area that's kind of on like the backside of some larger set of buildings, such as there is like a backside to the Bastion. And so in this little cove, we see him like handing out these little like rebreathers, and then everyone drops off the backside of this like converted fishing trawler that is now a salvage hauler.
Excellent.
And like you all swim down to I think it's like we see all the like stonework, and then there's this sharp cut where the old stonework has been disturbed and like changed with more modern stuff. And so there are a bunch of like outlets for like hot water. So there's the whole like steamy, super hot water. And one of them is an intake, which has a like grating across it, which Ufir is able to open. There's like a they have sabotaged this or changed this, so there's a dummy set of bars that they can remove easily, but it looks as if everything's fine. And so y'all like swim through, like squeeze through this little space and swim along this large like access pipe that leads to a little reservoir inside of this building that you kind of emerge into.
I'm sure it helps that we're svelte teenage girls, and so we can easily slip through these bars, right?
Yeah, I think Ufir can come with you because he's not like a big guy or anything. It's a bit more of a squeeze for him. But he's gonna leave you at this like, so there's like a pool that y'all emerge into, and it's in this large dark room. You can tell it's a big space by the echoes, and the sounds of like water dripping. It's not lit at all, and so like one of you has a flashlight or something, and yeah, the beam of the flashlight doesn't reach a wall when you try to look around with it. All of these little like suspended metal like access ways that lead around, and there's like a ladder from one into this little reservoir. The space is very echoey and quiet otherwise. Like y'all are disturbing this very quiet space.
Right.
Mm.
Imagine there's the sound of like water dripping back into the pool. It's like dripping off of us that's echoing through.
Yeah, and like a little bit of white noise of water moving somewhere nearby, but not your pool. Your pool is like very still at the moment.
Do we need more light?
Yeah, how does Reina handle swimming? Does your hair like go out or go like burn like super low while you're
I produce bubbles.
Right, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then probably when we get there, I make the same motion that people would, like they're
like,
draining their hair.
Yeah.
And I just like actually for a split second, it actually looks like I have glowing strands of actual hair. And then when I let it go, it just like reignites.
Cool.
I think
Superb.
Prophet is like, while we're doing the, like, I don't think she sinks immediately, but it's noticeable that like we get into a little tunnel and she's like walking along the bottom and like pushing off of the bottom of things. It's just like, because like her stony nature, she just like, you know, she can lift herself up, but it's work. And she also just moves at a more sort of serene pace. So she's, you know, when people are swimming, she's like walking along the bottom of the tube.
She has the like Jason thing where you can just, if someone's running away from you, you just walk and you're always going slightly faster than them.
Yes. Yeah. We talked about that in a previous one where like Reina was like running to get in her mech and like Prophet is just like walking, and yet they still like launch at the same time.
Right.
Because she started walking earlier because she knew, right? Like you preempt any, it's time to go. You're already moving. Yeah.
It's fantastic.
And so, yeah, y'all are in this facility and Ufir is there with you and he's got his mask like hanging open. He's holding on to the side of this thing to stay above water.
Yeah.
Likely,
yeah.
And just says, well, I've gotten you here. The rest is up to you. These facilities empty most of the time. We come in, sometimes we make deals here.
Deals with the people inside?
Of course.
Empty of what?
And he shrugs. I don't go any further than this. They don't let me. Sometimes people are here. We trade. Leftovers, things they've skimmed off the top, made disappear. We take them, we sell them.
Thank you, Ophir. And Prophet grabs the rung of the ladder and starts to go up it.
And Ufir will stop Abbott.
Yeah.
He like catches your eye before you go up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Abbott will stop and turn and, you know, like shoulder to shoulder and make very direct eye contact.
And he says, "You're Beaumont's friend, yes?"
Yeah.
And he like reaches a hand up and like he has like a mustache and he kind of smooths it. It's like a bit of a tick of his.
Mm-hmm.
She relies on this place and people not knowing that I can get in here. So
I hear you.
yeah, and he just like nods. I see that you understand. The others make sure they understand too. And then he like is mask on and just drops into the water and swims away.
I have an imagining that Rain is waiting to go up the ladder. Like is it like taking up the rear rather since Prophet's in the front, right? And Abbott will turn to you and be like, "Your hair can be quiet sometimes."
When there's enough water, I guess. I still haven't 100% figured it out.
Cool.
Can you turn your hair down just a little bit?
The gain on your hair is just a little too high.
Too much.
Yeah, and you're like, I'm sure you're like steaming. Like hair.
Well, actually, I think that's totally a thing. I think Raina probably shows up. I think she like clenches her fists and like her hair flares up, and then there's like a bit of steam, and she's like, "Good to go."
Nice. And I think when you look up, Prophet's like already at the top because again, Prophet move, and not like impatiently or anything like that. But
I think Raina is climbing extra fast. I know I'm supposed to take care of the rear, but her natural inclination to compete is too strong.
Yeah,
I love it. And so then Abbott's like, as Abbott climbs, mist that has grown on the top of this pool like follows / is actually falling, like cascading off of her.
Yeah, there's like a little bit of a wispy trail that you leave.
Yeah.
Nice. And so right away, once y'all are all kind of at the top and trying to like figure out where to go next, you hear, you see in the distance a light where it's like a door opens and there's this light from some other place. The door then shuts and there's a little point of light that's doing the like pivot around thing, like it's attached to someone's head. And this like tack, tack, tack of someone walking along and they're like muttering to themselves.
Friendo.
Keep like looking down at something and then like peering over the edges of things. So someone is like down here doing some kind of task. Occasionally you see like a little data pad light up as they punch in some stuff and then keep walking along.
And they're just working in the dark. It's not like they care that this is normal to them.
This place clearly is just dark all the time. They came ready with a headlamp.
Yeah.
And they haven't noticed you yet.
Does it look as though we're going to cross paths in order for us to get to that door?
You now know there is a door somewhere, but like everything is just black in here.
Yeah,
like,
right.
For the little pools of light.
I think Raina is not wise enough to suggest this, but I feel like this might be a source of information, or we could learn a lot about this. But her like focus is a combination of like stealth and pathing. So like it's not the sort of thing that she'd actually like suggest. If this person is talking to themselves.
Right. Well, I think Abbott is uniquely in the position of knowing the kind of lowdown here that this person may very well be someone who trades with Ufir, so may very well be sympathetic, friendly to us if we represent ourselves as that. But I don't think Prophet is knowledgeable of that. However, there is a little bit to which I think Prophet vision has never been like displayed on camera, and so I kind of wanted to, before I stall it out, because it's about to stall out once we get inside. I sort of wanted to depict, and this would have happened in the fight with Raina too, in like the sparring. When she sort of looks there, she sees like 5 different possibilities of like the person going down this way and the person coming that way and the person like running into us and like us kind of
if you rolled off of the left side of the bed instead of the right side of the bed, then today he would be predisposed to look down at the left hand pool first,
right?
Therefore, so there's all these different little
she sees
like a little
all these like
around
and she sees like all these potential hymns on the action and so she just says we have to decide soon. Like, um,
Yeah, and already I think the way that Prophet, you know that things are getting a little bit weird down here and that there's some interference is that some of the like versions of him are different people. There's like all this weird noise in the signal. So you're seeing like other people who are in other places doing other things, like popping out of his timeline, and like there's someone like pulling a book down from a shelf and opening it. There's like a little girl playing with a old tire and a stick, like who like chases it down the thing for a moment and then disappears. There's like all these weird
nice.
meddling
Nice. Yeah, I think she shows it on her face, the confusion and the like. It's one of those like, Prophet, are you with us sort of moments where she's sort of zones out, getting caught up in all those.
So yeah, what do y'all want to do about this person inspecting the pools or something, whatever it is they're doing?
Andy, how do you feel about talking to this person? How does Abbott feel about talking to this person?
No. So here's
Abbott, known for her loquaciousness.
Yeah,
yes.
Well,
totally. Abbott's inclination is, as soon as this person shows up and like it's clear, it's evident that like they're monitoring stuff, like, oh, okay, great, we're gonna watch this person monitor stuff. So they have a routine. So they're going about their routine, and it's not going to take very long to figure out what the order of operations is, because like this person's like assessing something. This data pad keeps lighting up, like they're doing a job.
Yeah, there's like a pattern.
Yeah, so sure. Abbott would spend a hot minute like watching this person do this thing and look for the opportunity to walk very quietly past them, but just the best opportunities when are they going to be all the way over on the other side, and like to like play the move around them game. Like Abbott does not want to talk to this person.
Yeah, because there's like a big grid of these things around these little pools, one of which is the one you came out of.
Right.
Sure. I dig it.
So that would be, Abbott would just like wait and watch, and then like walk here and they're over, right? Just play this like shifting tile game, right? That would be
cool. Do we think this is something that everyone is doing together, or is this Abbott guiding everyone?
I feel like if that was like let's wait, let's get around them. I mean, I would certainly be happy to offer what I can still see of their future pattern. Like they're going to turn left, right? Like we should take a right. They're going to go left. Let's go opposite of them.
What type of action would it be to try and lift their ID card off of them?
Like I imagine something like flow would probably be appropriate, right? Because you're just trying to be like quiet and quick and precise in your movements.
It could also be conceal.
Or conceal. Conceal would definitely be a good one.
I might be bad at that one.
But I think what we're doing, at least before we get up to them, is analyze. I feel like that's...
I certainly feel like what Abbott is doing is very analytical. It's like see the pattern, try to figure out where they're going to go, and then you don't need to be sneaky if you can just be really far away from them.
Yeah. But that could also lend the opportunity of passing very close to them and lifting something.
Yeah, I feel like flow is right if you want to just like snatch it and run, and they'll be like, hey. But if you want them to never have noticed, then conceal would definitely be the one to do.
The thing that Abbott will have emoted in the process of wanting to do, like the wait and see, will just be to catch y'all's eye. Just finger here and hold on, right? And we'll just stare at this person. Which is deeply confidence inspiring, I'm sure.
Yeah, like Abbott's doing something?
Sure.
Maybe.
Well, Prophet will signify that she's working with you by standing shoulder to shoulder with you.
Great.
Like you do in Inheritance. She'll walk up and be like, I stand with this person.
I think
obviously the way that Prophet needs to help is to be as in physical contact with Abbott at all times, right?
Right. Yeah. It's pretty innocuous physical contact, but yes, yeah.
Reina is trying really hard to be still and patient. These are not things Reina is good at.
Well, Abbott will suggest very quietly that you should stay behind us so that your hair is not visible.
Tor.
Thank you. Why do I keep doing this?
You're just obsessed with Abbott.
Yes, that's what it is.
Just
Prophet will
character
suggest
lead.
that. But I don't think it doesn't seem. It seems like it's so dark here. That's maybe not actually a big deal. Like I don't know. Is Raina's hair standing out so much that
I think that there is a moment where Rina nods, and you see her focusing like really hard, and her hair does dim.
Mhm.
Wow.
But she looks at the two of you, and it's obvious that this takes either that this is some sort of strain, whether it's like physical or mental or whatever.
Yeah,
But
right,
definitely giving you the sooner we can move, the better kind of look.
right. This is hard to do.
Yeah.
This is heavy.
It hurts.
Yeah, cool. Let's do an analyze group action,
Awesome.
and then
I make it
maybe a
easier.
conceal or a flow group action too. But
Yeah, I feel like an analyze group action can get y'all around this person and have your paths not cross.
yeah.
Puzzle time.
I would like to use Oracle. You can see your myriad of timelines leading from the past to the future. When you gather information, you get +1 effect. If it relates to your fated person, I'll stick +1d. I think both of those things.
So would you like to make a separate roll to gather information about this person?
I see. Yeah, I was.
Because it does want to be pointed specifically at like the asking questions.
Right. No,
So-
that's fine. The move I think is relevant narratively, but it doesn't need to be mechanically because we're not doing gather information. So yeah.
I wrote these rules for a reason, Sean, and it's to stop you from having fun. I just want you to know that.
You failed then. You failed hard.
Oh, next time.
Gadget.
Yeah, so everyone can make a roll. I need to provide a position and effect.
Yeah. Also, we should decide who's leading the group action.
Yes, also important.
I've got lots of stress, so I'm very happy to because Eclipse sounds really interesting.
Okay, then.
Is that something you want to do? Because I can see that if you're on about it, but I also like fictionally, it seems like this is a strange Abbott's doing stuff again.
I think so too. I think it makes sense for Abbott to be leading this. I just
Yeah.
If people are worried about stress, I'm happy to soak it up.
No, I'm up for Abbott doing the thing. I would like
Cool.
that.
Cool.
So it's going to be a controlled position.
Great.
And I think we'll just say standard effect. There's no you're not transcended or anything. This is just a
Nope.
subtle bit of moving about.
Mm-hmm.
You definitely get one stress from me.
Great.
In a move
Yeah.
that surprises no one.
Let's see. Come on, do the thing. Yay! Cool.
Okay, so the best result is a 6. So we're
Yeah.
good.
Ta-da! Yeah,
Y'all
future
managed.
vision.
Future vision plays out in that the dice were nice.
So yeah, y'all managed to do the like weird game of Frogger or whatever like 80s arcade game this is. Maybe it's Pac-Man. I think it's more like Pac-Man.
Ooh.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You need to waka your way into the right corridors along these like metal like gangways and stuff.
Right.
And as you move about the space, you take a moment to like glance below you every now and then, and there are these identical pools. They're all the same size, same shape. They all have a like clear like access point. There's like a big pipe that you can see when you look down into the water. There's like a big pipe that it shoots into it. Some of them are empty and some of them have water in them. And occasionally there's the sound of one draining, or of one filling, like water rushing into one or water getting sucked out of another, because there's a drain down in the bottom where they shut all the water down into. And so as you're moving about the space, there's this kind of like it's on a very slow cadence, but there's like the of water leaving and then like the of water coming in.
So
this
it's
person is going around like looking at all of them, and it becomes clear that they're looking for one that is like different or whatever. They're like, they think there's a problem and they're like, oh, not this one. You kind of hear them like muttering to themselves as they move.
great.
So remember when you said, do you want to ask questions?
Yeah.
Now I want to ask questions.
Sure. You can gather info if you want.
How deep are these? How far is it from the plank they're on to the pool itself if they're full?
There's probably like a 2-meter ladder, so like 6 feet or whatever, and then you're at the water level when it's full. But the pool itself is like 10 feet deep or whatever.
Right.
3 meters, a little more.
So at some point where we're doing the Frogger game, I think we have to go down one of these ladders to like stay outside of the we like know that the light is going to come this way, and so we all like crouch down on the ladder so that we're outside of the field of view. And Prophet, I remember my character's name now because I'm looking at it.
Good job.
Tor kind of like reaches back down and stretches and like reaches her hand and puts her palm so it just sort of breaks the water surface and sees like the ripple. Like it's dark, so it's really hard to make out any distance.
Yeah, there's just like the peaks of it that catch the light, so it's a very like as if in total blackness. There's this rainbow.
Yeah, and I think it's mostly lit by Raina's hair, honestly. Like that's
so
what
low orange.
And so I just like watch like the rippling, and I get this sort of concerned familiar face because I want to know what about this is familiar, and I want so I'd like to. I think it's probably analyzed as well. I'm trying to recall what parts of this are the same as when I was here a millennia ago, and what this function is. The question I am ready to ask is, what do I remember about this? What do I remember about these pools? Which may be nothing, but
cool. So yeah, you can just make a fortune roll with analyze.
I think it's analyze.
There's
either analyze or perceive.
So
yeah. Cool. And it doesn't involve Raina in particular. So
yeah, this isn't like directly tied to the like dark fate of Raina getting trapped in the thing. Actually,
I mean, this is where I think
Raina, know that it is, but
okay, cool, awesome,
so
thanks.
We'll give you extra die.
Cool. And it's still handling fortune rolls like action rolls, so I'm kind of cheating it where I said I'm having great effect because I get extra effect, but
it's
not
perfect.
really extra effect. It's just better effect than whatever I roll. It's not really great effect. It's just whatever. Hey man, my dice are on fire, so that's effectively a crit.
Raina, your dark fate paid off.
Fire is a relevant notion here because you put your hand in the water and it's fucking hot. It's like super hot. Nice. And so there's like the ripples in you, and then there's the pause because you're like somewhere else, and then you get grounded back in your body by just like pain in your hand. It's super hot. And you rip your hand out of it. And you wanted to know what you remember about this place.
Yeah.
So like by your kind of vague reckoning, this room used to be basically they made like tomb effigies or like sarcophagus effigies for all of the gods that they killed, all the leviathans that they killed, and they entombed them all under the bastion. And this was such a place. All of the sarcophagi are gone now. There's this weird parallelism where now instead there are these newly fabricated, like made of modern materials, pools with the pipes leading into and out of them.
Right.
that are kind of like arranged in the same way and in the same places. And you have this like memory of the place, not from up on these gangways, but from down on the floor.
Right.
And of touching one of the sarcophagi and it being hot, of the like thing that is trapped in it being like struggling to get out and being all like fiery. And so there was this moment where you, in the past,
Right.
put your hand on it and been like, oh, ow, it's hot. And then that's when you pull out of the water and you make a little splash and like almost give away your position. But as luck would have it, one of the other pools is draining in that moment, and
Nice.
the person doesn't notice.
And I
so,
think I can ask a follow-up question to that as
you
well.
can absolutely ask a
I
follow-up.
think I know the answer already, but does that mean that there is a Leviathan in this pool? Like if when I touched the sarcophagus before, the creature inside it sort of caused it to burn. That's what I'm inferring for that. Is that accurate?
So not here, but these pipes, these waterways like lead somewhere else. And it's
Right.
as if like this is like the blood vessels of some larger beast that they have turned this thing into. So something somewhere else is heating this water. It's getting pulled in from the ocean, heated,
Yeah. Sure.
kicked back out after it cools a
Right.
little or something.
I'm getting it. Like they're pumping in cold water and it's heating it all and they're cycling it out or something like that. And this is...
I don't know if Prophet would be able to put two and two together as to what this is, but basically it's the same as they do in like a nuclear power plant or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think Prophet would, but she definitely says they already have one captured here. A Leviathan.
How do you know?
It's the same as it was before. Well, no, it's not. It's like it was before.
Do we want to go see it? I mean,
Yes.
And like right in this moment in the little exchange is when there's an opportunity to move. And
Yeah,
so,
right.
It's Abbott, you see this and have to like get everyone going.
Grab.
Yeah.
Great.
Prophet doesn't seem excited about seeing them, but she definitely agrees. Like we should. Not real keen on it, but yeah, like that's definitely a thing that we should do.
you may hear the occasional, like when we're in a wedding pattern or something, there's probably some under the breath grumbling from Raina who's like, I see all the Leviathans I need to, but I'm punching them in the face. Why do we have to see them when we're on foot? Yeah, it's completely
Nice. No, I love it. I just hope you can keep punching them forever, Raina. I'm sure that's what you'd like to do too.
And so y'all make it to the door. It isn't like a fancy high-tech door. It's just a
Is it like a port, like in a submarine?
Yeah, it's like in a ship or a submarine or whatever. It's designed to seal it, in case something goes wrong. It's like a two-stage door. So there's one, you turn the thing, you open it, and then there's another door immediately because there's a little like airlock.
Before we go in it though, Strash, did you want to have Raina try and lift this guy's, like, it doesn't seem like we need like
actually I have 0 dice in conceal, and I thought about like how Raina does things, and I realized that I'm not a pickpocket. Like I'm very much a direct kind of person, and I want to keep my conceal at 0 and not try to like hot dog this because I'm the fiery haired obvious one, right? Like if anyone's gonna give us away by trying to do something like that, it's me. And
well, I think when we have like the mad dash out of here, like Raina like and fleeing is great, but as we're trying to sneak in, that makes sense.
This is not my forte. I am taking cues from all of you, which is why I'm getting my grumbles in early because I'm sure that later on.
Nice.
Superb.
Yeah, dig it.
And so y'all go through this like airlock chamber thing. And so you come out and there's like a little montage of y'all. We're just gonna like align some stuff here, but y'all like move through the space. You're able to follow like these corridors and stuff are set above all the piping, and so you can like it's like quite warm in here, but at certain intervals it'll then like cool because it's in a cooling cycle, and like all the heat will get sucked out of the space, and it gets really like damp and cold, and then it'll get hot again. But you're able to tell kind of the direction of the water, and there's the like sound of it. It's like
Right. I feel like we're playing Marco Polo with the heat. Like you're getting hotter, you're getting colder, but like it's literally we're getting hotter and we're literally getting colder.
yeah, and it like comes and goes in waves, but you're able to tell kind of where the move towards the center of this thing, and you don't see anyone else. I think really there's maybe like a couple moments where you like turn to look, and there's some people walking down a corridor, but it's mostly empty. This appears to mostly be like a maintenance area. It's all really roughly put together. Nothing is like nicely refined. There's signs of like disuse, like rust running down from nuts and bolts in the like metal hull.
Sure.
Are the folks that walk by, are they in uniform? Are they in like jumpsuits? Like, is it street clothes?
They're in uniforms. Mostly they look like work crews.
Do they look like mechanics from the LDF?
Similar, but like it's clear that they're in a different organization.
Great.
I think they have like patches on the shoulder. Like they wear the same military issue jumpsuit, but it's colored a little differently. It has different insignia on it.
I'm also getting kind of like less mechanic, more like janitorial kind of like maintenance
like
crew vibe. Is that right?
And yeah, like they're not. I don't know. It's very similar. I mean, I think like Abbott is probably the only person who's positioned to really like recognize the difference.
Right.
And it's the way that I can be like, are you a car mechanic or a bicycle mechanic or like there's a level of nuance that other people not in those professions won't give a shit about. And that's kind of where the other two characters are. For Abbott, you can tell, like these people don't work on engines.
Right.
But they're definitely like engineers.
Okay.
Cool.
They're not, I don't know, they don't strike you as being like uneducated or unmotivated people. They're very like business-like and like clean cut about whatever they're doing.
Right. They have a focus and an intent and a purpose, like of motion. And
and it's in that way that makes them a little bit sinister.
Yes.
Of course.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Nice.
And so we have this montage of y'all moving through the space, and eventually things kind of move upwards at a certain point, and you find yourselves at the like meeting point of all of these pipes and everything, where this corridor, there's like another set of airlock doors, and there's just this like massive open space. And you're in like, I think we have the shot from like out in the space, and there's you like tiny on this little gangway with a little door opening, and there's just this like enormous space. And you're like 3 or 4 stories up, and down below you can see Prophet, what you recognize as being the prison thing, the like main spot. Like this would have been where they found you when it barfed you back out. But since then, it has changed like so much it has been changed so much by like all the new tech that's covering everything. Like you can barely see the stonework under it. There's lots of big like cabling and all of these units that have been kind of set up in place. It has that very improvised look of, they didn't get to build the building that this facility is in, but they had to assemble a very complicated arrangement of various like electronic things in this space. There are massive turbines, let's say 13 of them, arranged in a circle around the this like central plinth with like a glowy MacGuffin-y thing. In that way that we need to signal like this is the magic thing.
This is the important part.
And in terms of like where this is in the bastion is like a big kind of peaky cone shape. This is directly in the middle, all the way down at the very bottom, and you can look up and see sky very distantly, way up at the top. There's
wow! So we're right in the center of the peak.
Yeah. And yeah, there's like lots of activity, lots of people at like consoles and running between things, maintaining this, like what is clearly a power plant of some kind. And periodically, there's like an area in the middle around the like keystone where there isn't any machinery or anything, because periodically this like bubble of energy appears, and then you see like an enormous like hand claw thing like push against it, and the bubble like flexes and then like crushes back down. So like things are trying to get out of the thing.
And despite that is happening, the environment of the folks that are there, though that's like fraught, it isn't a disaster. Like,
No,
does it
it's
seem like part of the tempo of what's going on?
Everyone turns and looks, and they'll like clear out a little bit, but there's like there's a definite line that it only ever goes out to, or has so far.
Like it's painted. I imagine there's like the painted yellow like hash mark.
Yeah. There's the big hazard striping around it.
Right.
Yeah.
Anything BF4 here is like it's like info level logging. Like, yep, cool. It's not like alert level logging.
Yeah, and so there is like a bullseyeing kind of pattern to it, where in the middle there's a certain pattern, and then there's like a more angry looking pattern, and then they're like, okay, now you're really in trouble pattern. And it's clear that it has like crossed some of those lines at various points. There's like wear on the paint, or places where it's kind of scorched.
Yeah.
But they all the workers like are clear of that, and so occasionally they'll look, and then they'll kind of like resume whatever they're doing.
Great.
So lights will change color, and they'll need to like do things and bleep.
So I know we took all that in, over the time of you explaining it. But when Prophet walks into that space, she immediately like straight arms Raina, like not hard, but it's the way that
not you.
Yeah, it's the way that like when you're driving and you like have to hit the brakes, you like watch out for the passenger, even though they're in a seatbelt, right? It's that like it just, and it's just reflex. She's not even like thinking about it. She's like stops Raina, and then like realizes that she's, that was sort of weird, or that was like Raina could take care of herself, but like kind of relaxes after she does it.
Begrudgingly relaxes?
Yeah, very grudgingly relaxes. Like she knows she's not going to stop Raina, but it was just like reflex. And then like super intently, way more so than she was in the pool, is looking for something in this. But of course it's all covered up by tech, but she's looking for the place where the person goes.
And so like on all of the walls in this space, there's the like standard like wall paintings and everything that we're used to seeing. These ones depicting, these ones are really monolithically large on the interior walls of this space, depicting like the ceiling of the Leviathans and this like Pandora's box-esque thing, but it's like Pandora's box in reverse, where they are all getting like trapped into it. And there's somewhere on the other side, there is a depiction of Prophet that's kind of can like barely be seen, and the other characters might not realize that's who it is, but Prophet, that's you. And it's, like you with this big like halo of light, like holding the thing closed or whatever. And there are like, the walls are just all marked with cuneiform, which is the old like for writing in clay style writing, where it's all little hash marks and stuff. And it's just like everything is written on, and it's just this massive like staticky pattern of writing. It's all made up of little like sharp triangle shapes, but then has like gangways bolted into it and like wires hanging along. Like it's all been
this beautiful art you had.
Yeah, exactly. Right. There's this hastily like made by military engineers assemblage of stuff that's very practical and ugly and brutal, and it's just stamped over top of all this shit.
Yeah.
I think Raina's face is like lit from beneath by this whole
there's like a big flash and the smell of ozone and
magical engine glow, and like her eyes are like extra bright, right? And she goes, everything we have runs on this. She says, she looks at Prophet and then like looks back and says, are they if they're using them for power, that means that something's got to be leaking out. And if they're doing that intentionally, is this what's causing them to escape? I mean, if my friends were stuck in a box like that, of course I'd be attacking our location.
I think it takes Prophet a second to respond. I don't know if
Abbott.
Abbott.
Well, Abbott will just slide her eyes. Like I imagine, as soon as we walked on this door, Abbott like slammed herself against the wall, right? Just like sort of likely in concert with Tor's helpfully stopping Raina from falling out the front of the car. Move, right?
Yeah.
And just Abbott's eyes will like slide towards Raina and just like won't say anything but smiles just very minutely.
And do we sort of, as the context thing, since we're in season 2, do we know that we've already defeated and captured Leviathans in the past and they've kind of gone away? Like, is this something we're all sort of aware of, or is this the first time we're encountering the fact that Leviathans have been trapped?
I feel like back in the day, they used to entomb and capture them. These days, there's just the murdering of them. And no thought is made to like make use of or to inter them or whatever. Like there isn't that same sense of responsibility towards the dead ones.
There's no ritual.
Yeah, like it's just a military operation.
Right. But obviously there's something inside, so that can't be 100% true. Like we've been killing them, presumably. But
maybe these are ones that were still imprisoned,
right?
You know, like they didn't all necessarily get out when
right.
Were like when
the seal broke. Yeah, I mean, and that's sort of as when we're talking as like the premise for this campaign was that it was like people meddling into things that that they didn't know anything about.
Why, yes, Sean. Let's go back to the cruise sheet and look at the prompt that y'all chose.
Yeah, why don't we review
harnessing a forbidden source of power?
Oh, yeah.
Right. And the Leviathans are notably not the source of all the bad stuff. It's long forgotten god. Leviathan's what the gods have been sending at us, right? Like, so it's not even, we're a step removed even from like Leviathans being the source.
Maybe
they could be, but there's more. There's more behind them.
Yeah. And yeah, like this weird like spectral hand that tried to come out of the thing, like maybe it's a Leviathan, maybe it's one of the gods.
Right.
Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah, so it does take Prophet a moment, but she certainly heard Raina, and she says, "You're right. That's what they're coming for. And if they get here, we're all gone." Like as much as she hates the idea that of what's happening here, she also is very cognizant that if Leviathans get here and break this open, then goodbye humanity. And she said, so she's like, if they do arrive and they break this creature free, that means the end of all of us.
What is that thing?
It's a good question. It's not something that Prophet recognizes immediately.
Yeah.
I think at this point, seeing that there aren't people up here, we're not being chased by people with guns, nothing bad is happening. Raina's like sense of like danger is like way off. So she like hops up and like grabs the guard on the railing and is like half leaning over trying to get a better look. Like obviously this like, you know, this is a minute shift in perspective. But like she looks over her shoulder and is just like, if they're flushing out water, is it Leviathan tainted? I mean, isn't that kind of dangerous?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's great for Prophet not to know right now, because this is around like the nexus of all the. This is the area where she's the least prescient, I think. So she kind of joins Raina and really, really doesn't want Raina to fall in. Not that she thinks that's going to happen, but you know, what if it shakes? What if there's an earthquake?
But does think it might happen.
Does think it might happen.
And can't know for sure.
Yeah.
and I don't know for sure.
Blurry
And
or fuzzy hair.
and I say, Raina, it might make you happy to hear. I don't know. I really don't.
She looks at Abbott and says, "Do you want to go closer in and find out?"
Abbott has become distracted with the all the markings on the wall,
Oh,
and
okay.
has like for a time was like big eyed, going back and forth between the center of power and this hand, and then we started like to loop back to like the relief or the mosaic that we saw in the hallway a long time ago. Start
Mhm.
looking for similar, like, found prophet once, maybe prophet's here again.
Yeah, and maybe that's when you notice on the like opposite wall, there's the figure with the like huge halo that has like a staircase across her face or whatever, leading to like a door that they have made in an upper reach of this thing.
Nice.
Yeah.
And she's like in this very like noble profile with her
Yes.
hands like holding the lid of this box closed basically, and there's like glowing light that illuminates her that comes up out of it.
Superb.
Right. Love
And
it.
it's all like super faded and like some of the paint has peeled off and you know all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a thing I want to figure out, and I don't know if Prophet has the ability to do it, but the thing that she's really, really hopeful for is maybe with all the horribleness of the LDF, maybe they've actually figured something out. Maybe they figured out a way to contain the Leviathans without needing a person to like, maybe her worst fears won't come to pass. Because again, in this place, she can't see the future. She believed 100% that it was just going to be the same thing over again and that Reyna was going to have her fate. But like here, she has this, even though it's kind of gross and awful, there's like also this cynical hope that like maybe they figured it out.
Yeah, maybe
I
there's some
don't know
alternative.
if she has the ability to discover that though. Like that's
Well, we
not
might
the
have to
kind of
get closer.
yeah, well, I think we'd have to get closer for one. But also two, that's not really like in her ask these sort of questions, but I think it probably is in Abbott's ask these sort of questions. So
Well,
what I will put to you, Sean, is this is an excellent opportunity for you to talk to Abbott about a bunch of stuff.
yeah, exactly.
Which
so I'd
I
like
can-
to
go ahead, Sean.
no, you go.
Cutting from Abbott, looking at that big old picture of Prophet, Abbott finally comes and leans between your two shoulders of Raina and Tor,
Nice.
and like very quietly and low, where both of you can hear, is, "Do you ever dream about the good things? Raina, did you see? Was that good thing?" And like looking over at the.
Oh my God, is that you?
I think we should cut there and take our first break.
All right.
Love it.
If that works
Great.
for all of you. All right. Good times. We'll be back in 5. See you, everybody.